Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak, and this is the Into the Weekend with BetDSI show that we are doing once again in 2015. Very thankful for that. It's our most popular show amongst hardcore bettors, and Brent from BetDSI, the headlines manager there, gives us a snapshot into a glimpse into the notable betting action that he's taken each week, the sharps, the public, and everything in between. And we're going to take a look now at the games remaining from week one in college football. We're doing this on Friday afternoon, so we're only going to touch on the games Saturday and later. Brent from BetDSI, thanks so much for being back with us.
All right, Peter, ready to roll.
All right, let's go. First game, have to ask you about Alabama, Wisconsin, right? Marquee matchup here. Now, I'm very proud to say that I previewed this game with a professional handicapper about 3 weeks ago or so, and we both had the same pick on that game. We loved the under. At that time, it was 53. Now I'm seeing that it's all the way down to 49. Have you taken sharp action on the under in Alabama, Wisconsin?
Yeah, the first sharp action we came out on the total was under 51.5. They came back at it under 50.5 as well. We're sitting at 49 right now. We've got a little bit bet back on the over there, but really we're still money-wise, we're probably about four times more volume on the under, and bet count is about it's only about 2.5, about 3-1 on the under. But yeah, definitely early sharp action came on the under 51.5 and 50.5 as well.
So clear sharp action on the under, and then market wide, the line does seem to have gone up a bit for Alabama. It was like about 10 about a week ago, I think. Now I'm seeing it's like 12 market wide, but that might not be. That could easily be due to just public action.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a lot of public action coming in on Alabama. Our count was about 3-1. Money also about 3-1 in terms of Alabama, but I did take sharp action actually just before we came down for this call on Alabama minus 12.5. Now we went to 13 minus 15 right away on that.
Wow.
It was a substantial bet from a very solid player. Again, once we went to 13 minus 15, we took a bet back from a reasonably sharp guy at Wisconsin plus 13 minus 05. So there you kind of get a feel for sometimes it's just the perception of the value of the number. One guy loved the 12.5 the way it was. The other guy liked Wisconsin enough at plus 13 minus 05 and took that. So right now we're back to Alabama 13 flat, but the initial big bet at minus 12.5 is one I would respect more. Again, it's not a great situation for us because our count is about 3-1 in favor of Alabama. Money's about 3-1 as well. That the early indication here in terms of the count, again, that gives you an idea that the public definitely is backing the home favorite Alabama there.
Right.
I call them the home favorite, even though the game is at AT&T Stadium in Texas there.
And then Arizona State, Texas A&M, the total took a big move there. That doesn't surprise me. As the average square handicapper, I saw that. I said, this is going to be fireworks. I was like, the over 66, probably a good bet. Then I saw it jump up to 70, took a recent dip market wide down to 69.5 at some places, but has the public been pounding the over on that one? Is that what caused that movement?
The public and Peter have been pounding the over. Yeah, yes. Again, this one's run way out of hand. I mean, I'm almost like 5-1 on the over now. We're sitting at 70 right now, and part of that too is I did take sharp action on the over. Over 60 was sharp here in that game, so I don't know if that was your bet personally, Peter, but over 68 here was definitely a sharp action. So again, we did get a little bit back, as you mentioned, but still our volume is way one side in terms of Arizona State. And then, yeah, I guess there's a lot of people thinking the same as you in terms of fireworks for that one.
And then I noticed that the line has been kind of bouncing around. It was like 2.5, then 3.5, then 3, then 2.5, then 3.5. It seems like my guess would be that you've gotten notably high volume on the side in this one.
Yeah, the volume on this game is very good, and the situation right now is we talked about the value of a number. Texas A&M minus 3. I did take sharp action Texas A&M minus 3, but I also we got to a point where we went to 3.5 on A&M, and we got Arizona State money back at plus 3.5. So this is one of those situations where we don't mind bouncing back and forth between 3 and 3.5. We just hope the game doesn't land. But as of right now, we're completely balanced in terms of our wagering volume, and our wagering count is spot on. And we've taken a ton of bets, and our count is off by like 15 bets, which is absolutely nothing.
And then I have to ask you about the craziest game of the week: Ohio State, Virginia Tech. This game's too crazy for me. I'm definitely going to be staying off this one. But obviously the suspensions for Ohio State being the clear-cut number one team in the nation, the fact that Virginia Tech beat them last year, just an insane game. The line, I did notice, market-wide was bouncing all over the place. It was like 10, then it went up to 12.5, then back down to 10, then back up to 12.5. Now it seems like it's settled market-wide at Ohio State minus 14. Have the sharps touched this one at all in any way?
Yeah, I did get early action on Ohio State when it was minus 13, which I would say, more respectable money than not anything really sharp. Right now we are back up to 14.5, and I did get sharp money on the plus 14.5, so I expect that to bounce back down to 14. And people will say, well, if you saw sharp action at plus 14.5, why are you there again? Well, the question is, what's our count like? And right now our count is probably, what am I looking at? About 8-1 right now in favor of Ohio State. and our volume in terms of money is that way as well. So obviously we're looking for a bet. We don't mind taking it to plus 14.5. We'll bounce back to 14 if we need to on Ohio State. So if we can bounce back between 14 and 14.5, we'll be fine like that. Like I said, I did get early action minus 13 on Ohio State. That's long gone. I expect we'll probably see some more come back on Virginia Tech plus 14.5. But our count is just way one-sided on Ohio State, Peter.
Okay, again, Brent comes to us from BetDSI Sportsbook, and let's just wrap it up, Brent. What can you tell us about notable sharp action that you've taken from college football week 1? Again, this is just for the Saturday and Sunday, Monday games.
Well, I know you're just itching to bet on the Old Dominion Eastern Michigan game there, so I'm going to throw that one at you first. Old Dominion right now is sitting as a 4.5-point favorite. They're at Eastern Michigan. I've got a lot of public money on Old Dominion, which seems kind of strange. Like, why would the public be betting Old Dominion? But the count is about 3-1 in favor of Old Dominion, and my money is actually favoring Eastern Michigan just slightly. Wow. And generally, as people will find out as we go into the season, when I've got a count one side and money the other way, usually it's sharp money involved, and we do have sharp money involved on Eastern Michigan. Now, they did come in at plus 6 and plus 5.5. We're down to 4.5 right now, so that's kind of indicative right there. Penn State and Temple, that's another game that's quite interesting. I've got one-sided action on Penn State in terms of my count is about 5-1 in terms of Penn State. My money, again, as is the same situation with Eastern Michigan, my money actually favors Temple. I did get a sharp bet on Temple plus 7 minus 15, so that's a big one there. Arizona State, we touched on that in terms of the total being sharp and the side bouncing both ways. BYU Nebraska, the money came in just pounding on the total there. We're down to under. Our total right now is 60, and early action came under 65, and all the way down. They finally stopped betting the under at 60. But BYU Nebraska, that's a game where we're going to hope for the over there, and like over big time too. I mean, over 60, won't help us much. It's got to go over 65 because they hit that one early. Northern Illinois is a strange one. We're up to 23.5 right now. I had sharp money on Northern Illinois minus 21, 21.5, even 22.5. And it's not a good situation for us because I've got sharps and the public on the same side on Northern Illinois over UNLV. My count in terms of total wagers is about 5-1 in favor of Northern Illinois. My money is about 10-1, so that's really one-sided there. That's one of those situations we're going to hope for the sharps to be wrong. I've got sharp money on Tennessee. That came at minus 20.5. We're up to 21 right now. Now, that one's kind of hasn't got out of control. Our count's only about 2.5 to 1 in favor of Tennessee in terms of the wagering volume. Our money is just slightly favors Tennessee. So I'm getting some money. It's just not a high volume game right now, but the sharp money did come in on Tennessee minus 20.5. It's interesting because, you expect Florida State to always be a high volume game in terms of the amount of money bet. But, you got Texas State playing Florida State. It's kind of one of those games where you said, if there's not going to be a whole lot of volume, that would be it. But that's not the case in this game. I've got a lot of action both ways, actually, on Texas State plus 30. I've got volume on Florida State minus 29. We're sitting at 29.5 right now. So it kind of seems like we found the number, but our count is about 6-1 in terms of Florida State. But I'm just surprised. I just mentioned that game because of the amount of volume involved. You just wouldn't expect a Texas State game to have a whole lot of volume. Last game I'll just touch on is USC. They're at home to Arkansas State, kind of an ugly game on paper. USC minus 27 and plus 29, kind of both ways. I got decent money there. Again, I just brought this up because the total is under 70.5. I got a lot of sharp money. Over 65.5. I got sharp money as well. So it's just one of those situations where you take a look at line movement, and how much you're going to move. We're in a situation where we got a 5-point middle on a total, which is never a good situation. But you just got to keep on moving sometime because you run the risk of getting pounded. 2 dimes at a pop. Under 70.5. You go to 70.5. You go to 70. You go to 69. You kind of got to make moves in terms of like. From 70, you go straight to 69, 68, 67. It's kind of a chess game in terms of how much you want to move because you don't want to expose yourself too much to risk, but you also want to have some money to back that off. So this is a situation where it took 5 points to move before we finally got something over 65.5. But I wouldn't be surprised if this total bounces back and forth again, Peter.
Brent from BetDSI, awesome information as always, and we'll talk to you again next week for NFL Week 1, College Football Week 2.